What's up? What's up? What's up? Don Familiar. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is so good to see you guys here on Diamond in the Rough with a Vibe our nationwide. And of course, you already know this is for the real, this is for the raw, this is for the authentic, the unapologetically them, the just gems. You feel me? So if you are in tune tonight, I know you probably have seen our previous video where we were talking about self-awareness and just, pretty much turning a mirror to ourselves and just a new perspective in general. So today we're going to take a turn and we're going to shift it over to how to react when life tests you. We understand that when we are growing, when we're evolving, when we're trying to turn over a new perspective, a new leaf, just a whole thought process in the way of operating and doing things, life tends to come and try us and test us, and it never fails. It's always when we are operating better. It's always when we have prayed, we have, got ourselves back in alignment. We have begun to try to become more disciplined and just try to do things the right way. It's always the enemy, or not even the enemy as far as like, outside. Sometimes it's ourselves, and sometimes those situations come and they come to test us to see how far have we actually grown, right? A lot of times we look at it as like, why now? Like, why is it trying to get, like, what is it about this situation that is trying to push me back forward after I took 10 steps forward? Now it's trying to take me 10 steps back. But in reality, it is to show you where are the areas that we have to heal. And I understand, like, and I'm sure you as well have experienced these different things where people have tested you. You probably have grown from circumstances and situations and decisions that you've made. And now you're like, you know what? I don't even want to evolve myself around certain people. I don't even want to connect myself with certain people. If I have to still deal with certain people, I will deal with them differently, either barely or just find a healthier way to deal without dealing. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes those very situations will resurface and it will try us. I don't even care if it's somebody looking at you crazy in the store. I don't care if it's somebody cutting you off in traffic. I don't care what it is. These things are thrown our way to see how we're going to respond. And we have to know that we will not give the enemy the satisfaction to say, I told you so, because we are truly trying to, overcome those negative thoughts. We're truly trying to overcome those negative reactions and actually respond and not react to certain things, because sometimes things are sent our way strictly to test us. Sometimes it's to see truly the things that we need to work on and the things that we have not done the necessary work on. Okay. And it isn't to say that you're not perfect, but you're truly perfectly imperfect. And you gotta remember that, okay? So transformation, it sounds very beautiful, but it's very disruptive. When we start seeing ourselves differently, we start responding differently. And not everybody, not every environment, not every situation will support that version of us. Sometimes the test isn't to break us, but it's truly to show us the areas where we need to do some more soul searching and some more work. Okay? You said you changed, but those things that you experienced is really going to show you and test you to see how much did you truly change? Did you truly change? Have you truly just really just rested in a whole new identity and shifted and stepped into the God-given identity that you're supposed to be in? Because, some of us shouldn't even be moved by certain things. We shouldn't even be moved by certain people, because we understand that when you are in a different space in your life, when you have evolved to a certain mountaintop and God has truly, been allowing you to transition in your ordered steps, God ordained steps, you realize that you're too big to even respond, or you're too big to even operate in certain type of ways. And I don't mean that you're bigger than the program, no, because none of us are, but I mean that you have something more mighty on you. So because of the fact that you have a higher calling over your life, because of the fact that you have something significant within you, you cannot respond the way other people respond. You cannot move the way other people move. You cannot operate the way other people operate. So that soul searching and that new transition and renewal of the mind is so significant and so important. So whenever these tests and trials and triumphs come our way, we have to be mindful and we have to have the discernment to know, okay, I see what you're doing and I see where you're going, but not today, devil, not today, enemy. You won't get me, devil, get thee behind me. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm talking about people from your past start coming up, people that you regret, situations you regret, mistakes you regret, people that gotta be in your life. You know what I'm saying? All of these different things start coming up, and it's to see how can you maneuver through this, even having to do some things that you don't want to do, even doing things ideally that you wouldn't choose to do, but you just have to do it. You know? Listen, remember, growth is a practice, not a performance. So changing your perspective isn't about perfection, it's about practice. You're going to slip sometimes, you're going to react out of habit. That doesn't mean you're lost your growth. It just means you're human. The key is catching yourself faster. There are so many times that we react and we act out of character sometimes, but I feel like it's so important to acknowledge, like, you know what, I got out of line. I played like I know better than that. And I feel like when we're mindful enough and we have the accountability enough, which is work itself, to take accountability, it is a lot of it's work. It's work. It's work. Let's just be real. It's work because we're used to, operate in certain type of ways. We're used to doing things and respond to certain type of ways. So once we became accustomed to a certain way of being, we have to unlearn and undo those ways of operating. The key is always catching ourselves, the gap between our awareness and our reaction. That's where maturity lives. So instead of saying, I messed up, try saying, okay, I see what happened there. I recognize that old pattern. Now I can choose better next time. And that's the grace that we give ourselves, because we have to give ourselves grace because, again, we're not perfect. Protect your perspective. When we're renewing our perspective, we have to protect our environment because our mindset is like a garden and not everyone deserves access. And I say this all the time, baby. You are a king. You are a queen, a princess. You are chosen, baby. So you are not meant to be around everybody, and everybody is not meant to be in your section, homeboy, homegirl. You have to know that, okay? If you're trying to grow peace, but you keep surrounding yourself with chaos, you're gonna start doubting the seeds you've planted. You can't expect clarity while living in constant noise. So maybe that means taking a break from certain people, spending more time in prayer, or even just curating what you feed your mind every day. You're responsible for your peace, and you have to protect it at all costs. Anchor yourself spiritually, and I mean prayer, fasting, meditation, whatever that looks like to you. Anchor yourself. Get yourself in a good position. When doubt starts whispering, remind yourself of what God already showed you, because a renewed perspective isn't just the mindset work, but it's a spiritual alignment. And I say that all the time. I know when I'm out of alignment because my life is very chaotic. Reflect instead of react. Here's something powerful I've learned. Every test is an opportunity to pause and ask, what is this situation showing me about me? That perspective is no longer about blame. It's about awareness. When you can reflect instead of react, you take power back. Power, power, power. You become the observer of your emotions instead of the prisoner of them. That's how you stay rooted when the world tries to shake you. There will be days where we question if we're really changing at all, but every uncomfortable moment is proof that you are. And I say all the time, uncomfortability is truly what breeds growth. Uncomfortability is truly the confirmation and the sign that you're growing, because comfort shows that you are in a place of stagnation. Many of us understand that those comfort zones, they're familiar places. So it's nothing to be, necessarily uneasy about or moved about, because this is all you know. When you get tested, don't panic, just give thanks, because it means life is giving you a chance to apply what you've learned. And when you pass the test, even in small ways, that's how your new perspective becomes permanent. And I truly say all the time, like when something is thrown my way, when the enemy or when God sends certain things my way, even though sometimes they can be overwhelming and sometimes it can be, just a lot at times, things that we don't understand in those moments. I truly be thanking God, regardless of how hard it is, because I understand that whenever He sends me certain obstacles in certain situations, I know that I'm on the edge of a break. I know that there is something significant that He is sending my way, and I don't understand it. And sometimes I don't even have the capacity to even hold it in that moment, because He is doing something so much greater than what it looks like in that current situation. So whenever things are sent my way, I just try to change that perspective, and I just try to view it in the perspective of, okay, if you're sending something significant like this, if you're sending something to disrupt something, it is because it is a great cause and it's something mighty that's behind it. That perspective is so important, Family, the goal isn't to never be triggered again. The goal is to handle what used to break you with more grace. It is being able to say, yeah, that would have destroyed me a year ago, but look at me now. I see it differently. I move differently. I am different. That's real growth. That's spiritual evolution. So if you're in that space right now where you're trying to hold on to your peace while the world feels so loud, I just want you to breathe and remind yourself you've already changed more than you realize. The test is not punishment. It is confirmation. And even if you fall back for a moment, your awareness means you're still moving forward. Keep choosing your higher perspective. And even when it's hard, that's how you build emotional strength. That's how you keep your light in the dark places. I appreciate you guys for coming and joining your girl for a brief session where we pretty much talk about just the beauty in holding on to a renewed perspective. Even in the midst of the pain, it is purpose in it. So I hope that this has resonated with someone tonight. I hope that this has shifted someone's perspective. And even if it hasn't shifted your perspective fully, it has watered something that was already planted. I thank you guys. I hope to see you guys on the next episode of Diamond in the Rough. I need you guys in the building. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Love y'all. Y'all be